Hello there everyone, and welcome back to this Italian Unification campaign. So far it's been a bit back and forth as we've been fighting against major empires. All the major empires are allied with each other, and they're at war with me. So it's kind of difficult, but we stand on the precipice of greatness. What I'm going to do is I'm going to change the victory conditions. So the victory conditions of taking this is, well, it's kind of historically ridiculous and just almost to the, it's too hard really to take this. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna basically take all of Italy. So what we need is we need northern Italy we need the region of Piedmont, Liguria, and we need the region of Venice. I'm not going to include the Tyrol because I don't think that's... I think South Tyrol is kind of part of Italy today. I'm not entirely sure, but I don't think we're going to include that, so we're just going to include this. So I need 3 more regions before I can declare this a victory. And there, with that said, enters my great new plan called the Pizza Plan. So, it's called the Pizza Plan because it's round, or it's a half circle of conquest, you might say. So we've got a navy here on Corsica. They have done very well. One of the things is my navy has done pretty well throughout all of this. Not the trade navy, they lost in battle, but you wouldn't expect them to do well. So we've got this navy here, which is currently carrying the army that was stationed here. And they are going to launch one part of the Pizza Plan, which is to land at this port of Genoa, and then march through here and take Torino, which is now currently, it's got a light garrison of Frenchmen. Then we've got this newly recruited army, pretty nice army. And they're gonna go up and they're gonna reclaim Venice for us, and it's got a fort, so hopefully I'll be able to actually hold on to that quite a bit. We are gonna bring up, I should bring up some extra troops. We've got extra troops are being recruited here that's coming on pretty rapidly. What I could do is I could bring these with to make sure that we got an extra garrison there, because we're probably going to be attacked. We've got a Russian army over there. We've got Napoleon over here. So we've got lots of dangerous things happening. But without further ado, let's go ahead and enact my Pizza Plan. So first part is the easy part, which is just march past Napoleon, cross the bridges, off to Venice, and there is no one there, and we're not going to go ahead and... Maybe I should actually out-resolve. We'll lose some men, but we could gain some chevrons, which could be useful. So we're gonna out-resolve, and all my cannons got a single chevron. Very good. Now hopefully we'll get replenished quickly enough. You know what? Maybe I shouldn't have done that, because now the fort is broken. But that might be just as well, because that leaves a hole open in the fortress, and the enemy will charge through it. So first part of Pizza Plan is done. We've taken Venice and liberated that. Very nicely done. Now, second part of the Pizza Plan is taking the navy, we're attacking the port of Genoa, unloading this army. So now they're stationed on the mainland here, and oh shit! I was under the impression that if you land at a port, rather than just landing at anywhere, that you would actually be able to march directly afterwards. Shit, that's not good. So part of the Pizza Plan, but this is what happens in warfare. So we got a bit of an unforeseen trouble in the port, a bit of a scuffle, and they said parts of the building is on fire, and the army was unable to unload the cannons in time to march on Torino. So the plan is in a jeopardy right now, as the French could drag forces in from Milan and Torino, and possibly even from Marseille, to crush them before they are able to secure their objective. What I'm going to do also is I'm going to move up these 3 units that are going to help the guys in Venice, and they're going to hold the bridge. Hopefully maybe Napoleon will attack them, and in so doing he will waste time, basically. Right, let's go ahead and end turn, shall we? And see what the enemy is up to. So, the Turkish, they demand an alliance. They offer 11,000 for an alliance. You know what? It can't get any worse in terms of my current situation and who's unhappy with me and so forth. So why not? 11,000. That's plenty of money. He was feeble and destitute, so I'm not entirely sure where he got all that money from. And I'm not entirely sure what he thinks an alliance. We don't like that, so quite a bit of trouble here in the pizza plan, because oh, what did they do? Send this shitty army. Right, we're gonna retreat, and looks like they're not gonna follow. Right, we're just as good at both, so we're gonna choose pistol. And let's see. He's gonna shoot himself in the face, or what's going on? Oh, he's gonna run away. Huh. Oh, my guy was... Wait, I guess he was wounded or something? I'm not entirely sure. And the Russians lay siege to Venice. Great. So part of the pizza plan is going awry already. Oh, we got British bloody noblemen. And then we're back, so the city is besieged. Agent detected. And we got Winter. Duelist killed. He ran away. How did he die? Right. We're moving up these troops. Start moving them. Can go ahead and have those join each other over there. Kind of ish. And we've got quite the army coming on here. What I can do is I could go for Milan instead. Which could be a better choice, because the enemy would have to go, possibly have to go into the snow. They're sending their bloody spies after me. I've seen that quite a few times. They've murdered a few of my generals, and they've also, we're gonna send the navy out because they're gonna meet with the newly recruited ships, the frigates. So now my navy is a lot stronger than it was before. We're gonna stay in this area though, so I think we're gonna go to this trade port, and let's just quickly look at the diplomatic stuff of everyone dislikes me. I imagine some nations gonna have some dislike because they don't like the fact that I'm currently allied with the Ottomans. But it seems fine all across. Do I have any interesting technologies that I can purchase? I don't think so. We're doing pretty well here. I could go ahead and build a military academy, but as we can see here, it's not really going to give me any extra troops. It's just going to give extra chevrons to my men. And can I go further in the building line? Let's see. I think I can do it on lists and regions. No, that's not it. There it is, building browser. So if I go here, oh, military academy is the furthest, or at least in Rome. I need to go to my home region of Naples, I guess. There we can increase to... Can I see what we get from this? Do we get an extra unit? No, we don't get it. We just enable some research, which I'm not entirely sure if it's that necessary. Instead, it could be better to have this money spent on soldiers, which are dearly needed right now, because the enemy is, of course, outnumbering us massively. And with that said, let's go ahead and have this battle and liberate Milan. and then we'll see if the enemy goes ahead and actually attacks us at Venice, or if we're gonna have to move on from Milan and then go and attack the Russians in force. Anyways, let's go ahead and fight this battle. And here we are on the battlefield. So the plan is to advance our troops up here because we got the weaker troops on this side. We're gonna move up the cannons on this hill. Cavalry is gonna swing around, and yes, that's the plan. So let's go ahead and execute it. Let's move the infantry forwards. Looks like the enemy artillery is actually preparing to move. Yes, they are, stupid bastards. Which gives me plenty enough time to move up my cannons. I wish I could actually take this hill, but we're gonna have to take this one a little bit further back and then charge forth. I want the cavalry to, as quickly as possible, attack this artillery piece as it's now on its own. And what I'm gonna do with the infantry is I'm gonna swing them around a little bit and get them somewhere along there. The horse-drawn artillery is ready to come into place and open fire upon the enemy. The enemy has sent their cavalry to stop us, which is the general unit. I'm hoping maybe I can get them to fire at me while I'm in the forest, and that way we can soak up a lot of that fire. You know what? Let's charge them straight on. And you know what? Since the enemy is moving further away, means that I can get my cannons up closer to them. And the enemy... I was just about to say the enemy horsemen were unable to actually fire upon me. They did quite a bit of damage with that shot, but we still outnumber them. Okay, so the cannon was done. Pile onto those. They still have a 12-pounder artillery that we're gonna have to deal with. But I think if I'm able to set these cannons up correctly, I think we're gonna have to move some of these a bit more forwards on the hill. This one's okay. This one's okay now, and this one looks okay. So if we start firing at the enemy cannon right now... Oh shit, we got... I didn't notice that. Haven't you killed that guy yet? What's going on here? I'm gonna send the general just to support. How's it going over here? They're fighting against dragoons. Right, what I want is for the artillery to blast the enemy artillery, and in that way forcing them. Killing off the enemy artillery will force them to come to us. I'm gonna get more units since... Oh, it looks like most of the enemy army is gonna come on this side. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna have all the infantry here more or less, except 2 units are gonna be on this side. Enemy general is dead, and our hussars are now ready to swing around and attack this cannon, which is in a quite bad position at this moment. Right, you can drop the square. We're gonna get these units in a line across here. There we go. And now I'm not entirely sure where the enemy units are going, but we got pretty nice artillery hill here. The thing which I'm worried about is that the enemy is going to be able to focus here, far away from my cannons, where I'm not going to be able to successfully use canister to dispel their troops. And looking at my artillery's skill here at firing at the enemy, they're not doing that well. They've killed 1 cannon, but they've fired a lot of shots, and they're not actually... The enemy's not returning fire, which is the sad part, that we even when not returning fire upon the enemy, our cannons are not able to do the damage that I would want them to do. Right, I want you to form along there. And the hussars need to charge, they come under fire. And then I want this cannon to quickly move around behind the line. Ooh,
Our men are running, sir.
the hussars ran onto that trap. But we were able to destroy the cannons really quickly. And we're not going to have to deal with them anymore. And that probably sets off the enemy to advance towards us. I want these guys at canister right away. And then I think what we'll do is we'll actually make room for the cannons right there. And what I'll do is I'll swing the lines up, give a room here for them to set up their canister, and that will be perfect. And then I want my cavalry to return. And then go ahead and deploy your artillery. Ready to deploy the artillery and start blasting them. As soon as possible, I want you to barrage the enemy. These guys are not within barrage range, so we might wait to call the barrage until they get closer. I'm actually chasing my cavalry. These two units far away over there. Ooh, that's perfect if you were actually to fire at this unit, because you would fire into the side of it. The general is gonna coming under fire apparently. I'm gonna get him over here and he can support the artillery. I want to see these guys blast 4 canisters into the side of this unit. There we go. I killed plenty and are forcing them back. Now focus on this one, which is already breaking. The enemy, because they've lost their general, would be the roleplay reason why they're acting so stupidly. But most likely it's just because it's the AI. Focus towards the center of the line instead. So we got I believe you can turn now, can you not? Let's see. No, it's not actually with it. That's just out of range. And apparently out of range for this guy. Let's push him forward so he can help out. And then I think the cannons can probably take these two on their own. And the others coming through the forest. Right. Hold your fire and then select targets at will. Okay, now they're focusing in towards the hill. We're gonna move the general back over here. And then I'm gonna get the horsemen to move into the forest behind the enemy. So they're coming out of the forest, and looks like this cannon is not gonna be able to fire upon them. So we're gonna relocate that, and I'm gonna get the infantry to come up here, ready to swing into the flank. The troops that are within canister range of the cannons on the hill is getting absolutely destroyed. They don't stand a chance against the cannons. And now this one decides that it's going to brave the hill and get absolutely destroyed. And I'm going to inspire this one, the first horse-drawn artillery piece. I'm gonna get this one to come into play as well, and prepare to spray the enemy. Ready and deploy. Slowly but surely, the enemy army is completely falling apart. I'm gonna get the cavalry to chase down the units that are retreating. Go ahead and barrage the enemy. Oh, they looked like they were going to do a charge. Kind of perfect terrain here. It's really flat. And the enemy's got nowhere to hide when advancing towards the artillery. What we've got left is just one Fusilier unit. And I guess if we switch the cannons to round shot, they can pick him up and fire on him. Let's see, my hussars chasing down these guys. Not that well though. Ooh, there's an obstacle there. Looks like I've lost one horse on it. You know what? Let's just stand there and fire once into their back. Surely they won't come back from that. Oh, someone's formed a square there. That's perfect target, or at least for the cannons on the hill. This one is gonna hold fire since these guys are a bit too close. Oh, these guys are out of ammo. You know what? Then everyone might as well go in for the bayonet charge. And then these two will advance to take down the square and take down this unit, and my cavalry unit was shot down. Hold your charge and move into the forest. And the enemy is dispelled from their position. Very nicely done. The enemy has a tendency to, I mean, they're holding a lot longer than I thought they would. They have lost their general. They didn't have a real general to begin with anyways. And we've got armed citizenry units coming back after losing half the men and already retreating. Which I think is a bit too much, isn't it? Compared to what my men would do. And I believe they are equal in skill. It's hard work firing through the heavy foliage of the forest, meaning most of the shots are being absorbed by the forest and not actually reaching the enemy. They're broken. Continue to push and take out the armed citizenry. And then this one, so let's see. Let's go ahead and speed it up a bit. Okay, here we go. Now there's only one unit left. That shouldn't be too hard to kill them off. There we go. We've got victory. Hold your fire. There we go. Heroic victory. And here we got the result. Luckily for me, not a single unit was killed off. We lost 500 men, which is still almost half the army. But we have one of the most important cities of this area. So I only really need this region to call for victory, but we've got so many enemies ready to attack us that it's going to be difficult. Let's see, how many turns can I hold? 4 against the bloody Russians. And I don't really feel like attacking out, but if I wait longer, more troops will come. Not entirely sure. You know what? We're gonna face them on the field. See what the Russians say about that. The Russians don't have any cannons. They have a good general though. I'm pretty confident in victory. Let's go ahead and fight off the Russians. Strangely enough, we actually get to defend from the castle. The enemy's got no real chance at attacking us here, since they've got no cannons. And I've got plenty. 2 units on the walls to man those cannons, plus the cannons we got down here. We've got a whole host of light infantry in front, and then to back up with infantry and cavalry. So the Russians don't really stand that much of a chance. What I'm gonna do is a few of these units are gonna go ahead and deploy stakes, because the enemy do have cavalry. They might actually come through the flanks. There's quite a few on those flanks. Let's get 1 light infantry on each, making sure that we got some of these stakes on the side. Doesn't look like they're gonna come through the center, are they? The cannons are already roaring and drawing up huge gaps in their lines as the Russians are advancing. Pretty strange to see Russia advancing on Venice. But then again, we got lots of snow here. Let's see, are you gonna shoot straight into the hill? Let's see if you have time to actually deploy your stakes. You might not even have time to go ahead and deploy them, or at least on the left side, as the enemy is advancing there quite rapidly. They're forming into diamond formation and preparing to attack, but come on, deploy your bloody stakes already. Don't you assist it. There we go. Then the flank is secure. And this flank is also secure. And now we're opening up on the troops coming down the center. The guys coming down the center has got really no chance whatsoever against our men. My light infantry has twice the accuracy of the Russian normal line infantry. And they're getting cannon fire from up here on the walls, and the cannons down here as well are firing into them. We haven't seemingly inflicted that much damage though yet. This one's almost lost about 30, same with these. This one's actually lost quite a lot. But a lot of the others haven't actually lost that many men yet. Okay, so this one's losing quite a lot. What I want to do is I want to actually draw these guys back. Get them to move towards the flank, because what we want to do is canister is very effective. So we want to draw the enemy in. I'm going to get these 2 light infantry to actually move in behind the cannons, hold their fire. And then the cannons will hold their fire as well. Prepare for canister as the enemy advances. And hopefully we'll see some cavalry. Yes, we've got some Russian lancer riding onto the spikes. Same on this side. Not as much though. They were able to get through. I need you to run, you stupid bastard. Okay, so since you're so stupid, we're gonna have to open fire even though you're on the wrong side of the canister. Okay, enemy cavalry. We're gonna go ahead and charge them. And whatever comes straight forwards here is going to get absolutely shredded by the canister. So this unit is actually faring quite poorly against the hussars, the Russian hussars. The Cossack cavalry was able to break through, and a lot of the line infantry on the left side and the right have been able to get through. The center, obviously, is completely destroyed, and so was the 6th Lancer unit. We got a light infantry unit, possibly the one on the left is breaking apart. I'm gonna get my cavalry to move in here on the right side, ready to charge into these guys. Oh, there's quite the battle going on here. And looks like both our light infantry units here were broken. We still control the wall. We still have all the canister. And there goes their general. Not entirely sure where he is or how he died. But somehow we were able to kill him off. Right, hussars, go for that unit. Down here, the light infantry is inflicting damage on the Russians, going through the spikes, trying to attack. Pretty poor morale at this point since they've lost their general. The artillery is continuing their pound. What we're gonna do is we're gonna tell these guys to stop being in light formation, form into regular lines behind the cannons. This unit's gonna retreat inside, and these units gonna set up and start to fire on the Russians that are coming in through here. And then, oh, you're gonna have to retreat inside then. And then I want the cannons to start targeting this side. And we're gonna inspire the men as well. Come on, fire into that mess of Russians. Ooh, damn, did you see that? We had hundreds of Russians dying there. And then the cannon crew, bravely enough, charged the Russians, forcing them away. Cannoni pronti! Okay, we had a few units retreated, but most of our men are holding the line, and we are beating off the Russians. Ooh, right! That was still right in there, in the middle of everything, and just fired straight into it. Surprised the Russians still fighting over there. And now I'm gonna get my hussars down here to chase off the rest of the Russians, and they're running away here as well. We're gonna tell them to target. Get their targets on their own accord. All my cannons survived. All my units survived. I think we did pretty good, I must say. How come we're still fighting? There's one enemy unit still fighting over here. I want you to form into normal line. You go ahead and shoot at the Russians. And the Russians were actually beaten back. Since we don't want to fight them again, we're gonna make sure that we don't have to by chasing them down and opening fire upon them from here, forcing the Russians away. We had an absolutely devastating victory against the Russians, where we still lost about 1,000 men, so half the army went down fighting, but the enemy lost even more. They lost almost 3,000 men. Still 860 men are still around, and what we actually did was we also lost a single unit here in our army, which wasn't very nice, but that's what happened. So cannons obviously killed a lot, and then the hussars as they chased down the Russians. So the Russians were forced away from Venice, and we can now start to replenish, which is good. And we're gonna need reinforcements soon as possible. So these guys from down here needs to march up rather quickly, and we got even more troops being recruited, ready to march up, and possibly this army as well coming to the aid over here. Plus we got winter, which will hinder the movement range of our opponents, which will do well for us. Anyways, looking at the time, I think I'm gonna go ahead and end it right here. So hopefully you guys enjoy this, and hopefully I'll see you guys for the next one. Bye.